remark.
No, I can withdraw and replace it that is the branch chair in court, which is in good faith. Mr. Speaker, let me say the following about this bill. This is a straightforward matter bill, and since many members would want to contribute to it, Mr. Speaker, Kenyans should know that the reason we demand for accountability is the resources we devolve, Mr. Speaker. The resources we give governors are so critical and very important. And I don't know why governors have a problem, Mr. Speaker, when we disperse money here, they don't have a problem. In fact, they applaud us, they praise the Senate for increasing allocation to counties. But when we demand for accountability, for transparency of those resources, Mr. Speaker, they find it a problem. But yet Article 96, Mr. Speaker, is very clear that Senate shall participate in division of revenue, which we are doing now. Mr. Speaker, it should participate in legislation, in representation and oversight. Mr. Speaker, the governors don't have a problem with the first three. But when it comes to oversight, to demand for accountability, for transparency, for prudent use, Mr. Speaker, for prudent use of resources. Mr. Speaker, and I wish that the Senator of Isiolo was here. There was in the audit report, and this is a report that is tabled under Article 229, that the county government of Isiolo, for example, allocated some amount to feed the wild animals. Is that the prudent use of resources? Is it? It is not, in our own opinion, Mr. Speaker. Because how do you feed wild animals? Where will you go and did an audit of a lion and tell a lion, come here, how many kilos of meat was bought by the county government of Isiolo? Like in Vihiga, Mr. Speaker, where my brother, Senator Sosi, and I can see he's too tired today. I suspect he had a lot of work he was doing over the weekend, Mr. Speaker. The governor allocated 5 million for housewarming, and it was in the audit report of 2024-2025 for the Speaker's opening of the House. Is that prudent use of resources? It is not. Because when you talk about oversight, you must talk about accountability, transparency, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and therefore, in Vihiga, for example, in Nandi, the governor allocated 41 million in financial year 2023-2024 on car hire services. Is that a prudent use of resources, Mr. Speaker? Over bursary, for example, over the pathetic roads that are in Nandi, Mr. Speaker, over the illegal sacking of 1,800 employees in Nandi County, Mr. Speaker. So what we are critiquing, Mr. Speaker, while we agree that the Senate has agreed, and I'm happy the chairperson of County Public Investment Committee, Senator Utsosi, is in the House, Mr. Speaker, is we want to look at the accountability, the transparency, and the prudent use of resources, Mr. Speaker. And it is very critical, Mr. Speaker, that as the chair of CPIC and my chair of CPAC, we must say we disperse this amount to Meru, for example. Is it used prudently? You know, the issue is not even about disbursement. Is it used within legally, lawfully, effectively, and prudently, Mr. Speaker? And therefore, the chair of CPIC, Mr. Speaker, through you, must note that although I saw over the weekend, Mr. Speaker, in Vihiga and Kisumu, the faction led by Senator Ososi was busy doing AI-generated photos of their political rallies in Vihiga and Kisumu, not reflecting the reality on the House, Mr. Speaker. And I suspect, since Senator Ososi was busy doing AI generation of photos, might have affected. Mr. Speaker,
Senator Chalagai, why is your contribution generating a lot of point of orders? Can you stop being diversionary, Senator Chalagai? Yes, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, you know, sometimes we must take our debates very seriously. This bill before us is a very serious bill, very critical. And it is important that my good friend Cherargei focuses on the content of the bill and the relevance of debate instead of dwelling into propaganda. We do not do, as Linda Ground, Mr. Speaker, we do very organic rallies. We don't transport people. If you look around our meetings, you'll never see yellow buses. Our people come to our meetings on their own. and we don't spend money. So it is not fair for Senator Cherargei to use the floor of this House to make negative insinuations about our rallies. I wish he was there in Kisumu and he would see the huge mammoth crowds that were all over Kisumu town welcoming us. And you remember last week, he stood in this house and said that we will not even get to Kisumu. They will finish us in Vihiga before we get to Kisumu. I want to remind him, we had a very successful meeting in Vihiga, and we made a major triumphant entry into Kisumu. And that tells you
Senator
that
Sosi,
indeed one term is a reality.
Senator Sosi, you know, you must really stand on a point of order. That is very clear. Yeah? But familiarize yourself, Senator Cherargei, standing under 120. Irrelevance. So can you just speak to this important motion? And then you stop diverting to other censures.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't divert. In fact, I was referring to him through you as the chair of CIPIC. That as a house, while we disperse, we must be prudent use, accountability, and transparency. Mr. Speaker, and that is very important. And the fact that they did AI generation of photos is not in question, Mr. Speaker. And it is very critical. And I'm surprised, Mr. Speaker, because he has mentioned, then why were the goons beating him up in Kisumu? If they love him in Kisumu, that's a question for another day. Mr. Speaker, there is an increment of 415 billion, Mr. Speaker. And Kenyans and citizens, wherever they are, in Mombasa County, where Senator Crystal Asige comes from, in my brother's county, Kilifi, God willing, will be there for Senate Mashinani in September, must know that even in Meru, where you are the respected Jurincheke, with distinction, Mr. Speaker, we are going to increase, even in Nakuru, we are going to increase a whopping 5 billion. And in the last, Kenyans should know that Senate is doing their job. We are pushing for more resources. Mr. Speaker, the Bible says, to whoever much is given, much is expected, Mr. Speaker, as the Bible says. So as we increase money from 415 billion to 420 billion, we will demand a more higher accountability, prudent use of resources, and transparency, Mr. Speaker, with integrity. That is very important, Mr. Speaker. On, you know, on Linda ground, Linda Mashinani, whichever, which one? Which one?
Do you wish to be informed by Senator Mandago?
No, he looks today excited to inform me. I wouldn't decline.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I just wanted to inform Senator Cherargei that the proposal of the Senate through the Finance Committee is actually 454 billion.
Senator Cherargei, I thought you were aware of those figures by now.
No, Mr. Speaker, I was coming home. I was just driving it hot. I wanted to bring it home, and thank you, Senator Mandago, for bringing it home for me. Because, Mr. Speaker, I was just showing Kenyans what the committee and the Senate, and also the agreement, because we also have National Assembly, who are sometimes obstacle to the more allocation of resources to counties. And I agree that, in fact, the intention of the Senate is against 4 trillion budget, the national budget. We should have had, Mr. Speaker, almost 450 billion. And it has never changed, Mr. Speaker. It is after consultation, and I wish I was not here, but I didn't listen so much on the chairperson of Finance Committee, Senator Roba, on the basis and the thinking of their report. But I know, because we live in a reality, Mr. Speaker, we don't live in a vacuum. We know there is a public debt of Kenya shillings more than 10 trillion that Kenyans are being owed, Mr. Speaker, by the national government. And most of the revenue that we generate as a country, Mr. Speaker, is normally being given, Mr. Speaker, to pay the public debt. That is 10 trillion Kenya shillings. And I think there are many factors: the economic growth, the collection by revenue, Kenya Revenue Authority, Mr. Speaker. And I want to appreciate, Mr. Speaker, that those are some of the aspects that but the position of the Senate, and I want to agree. In fact, as we go, Mr. Speaker, we can forestall or create crisis under Article 110 of the Constitution. I want to propose, and I hope the chairperson of Finance, Senator Roba, is listening to this, that we'll bring an amendment to still insist that the Senate position is that counties must be given 450 billion Kenya shillings, additional 35 billion from what we gave last financial year. Because in the last financial year, Mr. Speaker, you are aware, we had allocated counties 415 billion. This, the Senate now moves and directs that we increase the allocation to counties from 415 billion to 450 billion, an additional 35 billion. The proposal of 420 billion, Mr. Speaker, is, and is, Mr. Speaker, and I always ask myself, who takes care, who babysits, who protects devolution? I thought it should be Senate. But from the argument, it looks like National Assembly are more concerned about money that is taken to counties as opposed to the money that is given to national government. National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, should be oversighting the national government. I saw a statement from Senator Mwenda Gataya about Mathare Hospital, where the services are poor here in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. It is very unfortunate that Mathare National Referral Hospital has those challenges, Mr. Speaker. So the question is, the National Assembly Health Committee should tell us what is happening in Mathare, Mr. Speaker. But I want to appreciate, Mr. Speaker, some of the politicians in this country should be customers and clients of Mathare Mental Hospital, Mr. Speaker. Because what they normally say over the weekend, Mr. Speaker, borders to mental disturbances by some of the politicians, Mr. Speaker. They need to visit Mathare Hospital, mental, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I want to, it should be on record that, Mr. Speaker, some of the comments you hear over the weekend in political rallies, I want to appeal that Mathare National Referral Hospital for mental wellness, for treating mental diseases, Mr. Speaker, should be given necessary support. And I'm proposing that we create a VIP section of Mathare Hospital to accommodate some of these politicians who are inciting members of the public, who are making reckless statements, who are making tribal, ethnic remarks, Mr. Speaker. Even yesterday, Mr. Speaker, you saw at the court that one of the petitioner's lawyers of the impeached deputy president called this house goons. Are we goons, Mr. Speaker? And I was embarrassed that the senator of Kiambu was sitting next to the impeached deputy president, Mr. Speaker. He should have given a serious bout of ngumi so that he can protect. We are not goons, Mr. Speaker. So the point I'm trying to make is very simple. That the resources we allocate, we don't want to use goonism to oversight. We want to use a process of oversight as per the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we need to ensure that allocation of resources, both at national and county, should look equal, Mr. Speaker, because we are increasing this amount based on the national interest, Mr. Speaker, based on the Article 203, Article 10, Mr. Speaker, and the functions. Mr. Speaker, number 3, while we appreciate we are increasing, you have to appreciate that we have, Mr. Speaker, the Kenya National Library Services, there is a serious clawback, Mr. Speaker, and you have to appreciate this, of devolved functions. Like health, Mr. Speaker, I don't see any reason why the national government should have a huge budget on health, Mr. Speaker. That when you combine 47 counties, you find that it doesn't even go to a quarter or a third of national budget, Mr. Speaker. If we have devolved from dispensary, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 hospitals has been devolved. Mr. Speaker, you appreciate that in the last session, I don't know whether this session, we had passed a law that every county, the national government must and construct national referral hospitals. We need Meru level 5 to be a county referral hospital, managed and run by the national government, so that we release pressure on Kenyatta National Referral Hospital, so that we release on the issue of Mbagathi Referral Hospital. We release Embu. Embu level 5, Mr. Speaker, should be a county referral hospital, so that the resources we go there, the national government can function, Mr. Speaker. I'm talking about division of revenue at both levels of government. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what is wrong with our machines today. They have been letting us down. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what is happening, and we have complained about it. Mr. Speaker, even Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, should be handed over to national government so that we ease pressure to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. Even Kakamega County Referral Hospital should be completed and handed so that we release tension to Moi Teaching and Referral. Mr. Speaker, and you are aware Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital is not doing very, very well. There is issues of bad governance, corruption, and many other challenges, just like Madare Hospital, Mr. Speaker. So I'm making this with a lot of tremendous respect, that National Assembly should know, and I'm not discussing them, I'm aware of standing orders, just as a fair comment, Mr. Speaker. They should know that oversight does not mean stifling resources to counties. It is not in any way. Mr. Speaker, another pregnant and important point that I wanted to make on the issue of the small counties. Vihiga, I don't know whether Vihiga was one of them. We have Elgeyo Marakwet, we have Isiolo, we have Lamu, Mr. Speaker, a number of small counties that we did make allocation. We must look at them, Mr. Speaker, so that when my brother Ososi becomes the governor, he has enough resources to run the county government. And by the way, Mr. Speaker, on 1st May, we'll be doing Labor Day celebrations in Vihiga County. So these disparities of economics that we see, Mr. Speaker, is very critical, and it is very important in terms of expenses that we are pushing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it has to come to attention, because I am seeing time is fast spent, that one of the forgetting something, we are forgetting, Mr. Speaker. And I want to challenge the chairperson of Finance and Budget Committee. We need, and I've seen the vice chair has just walked in. We need also to be told the place of own source revenue. Because counties and governors normally go and tell the people in the village, you know, pesa ijakuja kutoka Nairobi, sorry for using with the indulgence, ijatoka Nairobi. Yet they are not telling Kenyans that they collect own source revenue. There is what we call conditional allocation, Mr. Speaker. I know we have passed the law. So, Mr. Speaker, we must look at the allocation that we give counties, Mr. Speaker. From equitable shareable revenue, additional allocation, conditional allocation, and own source revenue, and any other kind of donation, Mr. Speaker. So I hope, Mr. Speaker, the chairperson and the UDM party leader, Senator Roba, should come with a report after the DORA bill to brief the House. And I've said in Public Accounts Committee, I remember when he was the governor, he used to appear before me. And our only concern, Mr. Speaker, and it is the concern of all of us, is that all counties are missing the targets of their own source revenue. For example, Mr. Speaker, under the CRA revenue potential, Nairobi is supposed to be collecting 63 billion. But they are collecting 13 billion, and they celebrate. Machakos is supposed to be collecting more than 7 billion, but they are collecting less than 4 billion. Same to Meru, same to Nandi, same to Vihiga, same to Kirinyaga, Mr. Speaker. And I'm saying this, and even Embu, Mr. Speaker. I'm saying this, that we must push governors, that when set a target of own source revenue, they must achieve it, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be that they over-rely. My prayer, Mr. Speaker, is we will go into the future that counties will collect own source revenue until they don't need equitable shareable revenue from Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, another dangerous issue that we have noted is governors and the FIF funds, Mr. Speaker, facility improvement funds. Mr. Speaker, I was shocked. For example, the governor of Homa Bay, when he appeared before us, was happy that he had collected 1.2 billion through own source revenue, Mr. Speaker. But the governor had collected only 800 million from hospitals. So does it mean when you collect more from hospitals, it is dangerous? Because the disease burden is very high. And I want to call upon the chair of finance should tell us, when a county comes, over 3/4 is from hospitals. Should we celebrate as a country? No. It means the disease burden is very high. The dependency is very high, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, based on the own source revenue and the fact that we passed Facility Improvement Act, Mr. Speaker, is very important. Mr. Speaker, in the interest of my colleagues, I beg to support, and also I'll bring an amendment to ensure that we get 450 billion to our counties. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, Senator Ososi. Chair CPIC.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me also make my comments on this very important bill, the Division of Revenue Bill 2026. Mr. Speaker, as you all know, this is a bill that allocates the money between the two levels of government, the national government and the county governments. And this bill proposes that 420 billion be allocated to the 47 counties. Mr. Speaker, this is only 5 billion higher than what was allocated in the last financial year. That is 2025-2026. And when we came to this house, 2022-2023, we allocated 370 billion to the counties. And now, this bill proposes 420. That in 5 years, it means we have only managed to allocate 50 billion within the 5 years. Now, that translates to 10 billion per year, which is very little money to our counties. I want to start on a disappointing note, Mr. Speaker, that the 420 billion that is proposed here is far much lower than what CRA had proposed. CRA had proposed 458 billion. The committee chaired by my able friend Senator Roba, Finance Committee, has proposed 454 billion. Mr. Speaker, when the committee proposes a high amount, we all get excited about it. But when it goes, the bill goes to mediation, they always come with a lower figure, much lower. If there is any improvement, it goes up maybe by a few billions, 5 billion or something like that. We hope this time that those who will be on the mediation committee will push for a higher figure, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that because there are important issues that we must give judicial notice. The first issue, Mr. Speaker, you know that this House worked extremely hard through our two committees, the CPAC and CPIC, to ensure that we process the audit reports in line with Article 229 of the Constitution, which says that within 3 months after the publication of the audit report, then the Houses of Parliament must debate, examine, and take appropriate action. We have done that. But has that translated into the computation of division of revenue? The answer is no. Because the figures that have been used here are for the latest approved audit report by the National Assembly, which is 2023, actually 2022-2023. That is about 3 years behind, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the essence of Article 229 and the judgment of the court, because there was a court ruling that the Houses must strictly adhere to Article 229. If we have adhered to Article 229 as a Senate, and now we are proposing to share lower money to our counties because we are using the audit report approved by the National Assembly for 2022-2023. This is something that this House must take notice. That the House has complied in terms of Article 229, but the National Assembly is not complying. And if the National Assembly is not complying, then basically what it means, Mr. Speaker, is that this bill we are actually debating today is unconstitutional because it has not complied to Article 229 of the Constitution. It has only used the figures for 2022, 2023, and that is not in line with the Article 229 of the Constitution. So I want to, even as governors have been fighting with us on attending the two committee meetings, one of the things that they overlooked is that actually if they complied and we met the deadline of 31st of March, they should have actually gone to court to compel the National Assembly to comply so that the figures that will be used to compute the division of revenue will be the latest audited accounts. I think in the next division of revenue, which will be coming when we are almost campaigning to be elected in different positions, we must insist on compliance to Article 229 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, then the ruling of the court on the matter of 229, if applied to this division of revenue, it means this division of revenue is actually unconstitutional. The second issue that we need to take judicial notice is that there is this document that I and members of the Linda Mwananchi, we have been pushing hard. The 10 points agenda that was signed between the late party leader of ODM, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, and the President William Ruto. They made a commitment in writing that with effect from the financial year 2024-2025, counties will get 450 billion. Now, that never happened in 2024-2025. It never happened in 2025-2026. And now we are actually going to the last division of revenue, probably the second last division of revenue before we go to the election. And we have not complied with that provision in the 10 points agenda. You know, Mr. Speaker, our president, while receiving the so-called Zani report at KICC, just a few months back, he promised that counties were going to get money as indicated in the 10 points agenda. But this division of revenue has actually confirmed to us that what the president was saying was not factual, because the figure here is 420 billion. And these are things that we keep on saying, and I wonder, Mr. Speaker, you allowed Senator Cherargei to go scot-free with the accusation against the opposition, that the opposition is keeps on talking things which are not factual. This is on paper. It is on the bill, the division of revenue bill. The president promised when they were launching that report that they were going to comply. Now the figure here is 420. Now this is the last, probably the last, actually the second last before the election. And now we have not complied. So I want to urge Senator Roba and those who will be on the mediation committee that will, because this bill will definitely go to mediation, because the committee has decided on 454 billion, to go and sit down with those in the National Assembly to tell them that even for no other reason, if they really valued Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who was a champion of devolution in this country, they just need to give us 454 billion. And that will be above the 450 billion that Raila had wanted our counties to enjoy. On that basis alone, if this bill goes to mediation and the National Assembly decides to give us 5 billion so that we go to 425, I'm sure Honorable Raila is going to turn in his grave. And this government is making decisions that make Raila to keep on turning in his grave. This maybe should be one of the few decisions that are going to be made to make him happy in heaven where he is. Mr. Speaker, looking at the bill also, there is something called the national interest programs. I have read through, and clearly there are so many programs or projects in our counties that ideally should be included under national interest, which are not included, Mr. Speaker, and which are devolution in nature. I want to give an example. Construction of markets in the counties. Market is a devolved function. But who are doing markets in counties? It's the national government, through members of parliament. You have seen huge markets being constructed and governors have no idea. The budgets for this money, governors have no idea. I expected that should have been considered as part of the national interest programs in this bill. The other one, Mr. Speaker, is construction of stadiums in our counties. That's another devolved program. Now you see all over our counties, those stadiums are being constructed and these stadiums are being supervised by the military, meaning that we cannot even scrutinize the expenditure in these projects. We expected, at the minimum, the national interest component in this bill should have captured construction of stadium. There are also projects in our counties, and this is one issue that I expect the Finance Committee and even the Auditor General to take note, that we have roads which have been constructed by the county government. And then you find at some point the county government is not, especially cross-border, cross-county programs. You find that one county does a road, reaches somewhere at the boundary of the other county, and because the other county does not have sufficient funds, they go to national government, and the national government allocates money to finish that other component of the road on the other county. Mr. Speaker, this is very irregular, and something has to be done. I hope the Auditor General is going to take note of such commingling of funds between in the projects that are done by the national government and the projects that are done by county government. I want to give you an example, Mr. Speaker. We have a road in my county from Ikolomani in Kakamega County all the way to a place called Chavakali through Iregi. That road, during Oparanya's time, they did 9 kilometers of road using County of Kakamega funds. Then there remained a small portion from a place called Luciola to Chavakali Junction, about 2.5 kilometers. Then the other day you saw the president coming to launch it and saying he's launching an 11-kilometer road, factoring in the component of Kakamega. And the funds have been allocated. Mr. Speaker, this is how funds are lost. Because we pushed for money to small counties, to Vihiga. They should have used that additional funds we gave them to complete that road and allow the president to do another fresh road. Because if you allow the national government to come and do a portion of the road, which is done by the other county, that is where corruption comes in. So, Mr. Speaker, that is one of the areas that this committee should look into. Mr. Speaker, there is also the issue of universal health care component in this division of revenue, which is only focused on workers, paying salaries for the workers. But I want to tell you, as a chair of CPIC, the UHC program in our county hospitals, most hospitals are struggling. They are not compliant to the health model in terms of number of equipment, in terms of number of staff, number of specialists, because they are underfunded, Mr. Speaker. This bill should have factored that in this bill. Mr. Speaker, when we talk about public debt, which is factored in here, you saw the other day IMF saying that the public debt in this country is not factual because there are so many other debts which have not been declared. And they said they go back and declare the debts. Looking at this, you get that impression that the figures here are not complete figures. Public debt position of this country is worrying. And you heard the Auditor General saying the other day that he does not know how much public debt we have, because she was not given access to the information so that she can know the actual public debt position of this country. Mr. Speaker, without that valid information, practically speaking, this bill is unconstitutional. But because we are not very thorough in handling some of these issues, we let them pass as it is. But how I hope the Finance Committee could dig deeper into this issue of public debt, so that when they bring figures in the division of revenue, we should be in a position to question. Mr. Speaker, as we pass this division of revenue, the element of accountability is also very important. We cannot be a house that just passes money to counties without adequate accountability. There is a lot of stealing in our counties. And Mr. Speaker, our accountability committees, oversight committees, every year they give recommendations on what needs to be done, particularly recommendation to investigate and prosecute county officials who are involved in corruption. Mr. Speaker, we are being let down by EACC. We are being let down by EACC. And I think one day we should invite the Director General of EACC to appear before a committee of the whole House to tell us what is happening with the EACC. Because now, if you are a governor, you can steal, you can do whatever you do. All you need is just to become two-term. Just say two-term. Or just be seen to be moving around with the president. And now, that is how you survive. And that's why we told the president the other day, when we were passing this audit report, we said that if the president, if there is any governor who has bad reports, and you are the president, and you know, run away from them. Run away from them. Because you cannot be moving around with the people who misappropriate public funds, and they come to you. All they need to do is that we support you. We do what? That is not enough. Our people need get value for the public money that is sent to the counties. Mr. Speaker, I've looked at this bill, and I hope that the committee position of 450 billion will be the final figure that this House is going to approve. And this time around, Mr. Speaker, this time around, because this is practically my last division of revenue, because the other one is going to be in next year when we are just about to go to election. So it may not, I may not be there to oversight it, because I will have moved on to other roles, Mr. Speaker. But this one is the main one. We want to insist, and Mr. Speaker, I want to state, I want to be part of the committee on mediation, because I feel that we are not doing much at the mediation stage, so that we get a higher figure. At least 450 billion will be practical. Because, Mr. Speaker, we still have so many functions which have not been transferred to the counties. And the money to it has not been transferred. And we have other functions which have been transferred, but without the money. If you look at it, if we had to transfer all the functions with the money, then we would easily achieve a higher shareable revenue. But we are having a lower shareable revenue, and we seem to be very helpless as a Senate. I want to say that if we have to fight, this is the only division of revenue that will bring us back to this House or will give us new roles. If we are going to go for another addition of 5 billion, as usual, to come to 425, we shall have failed the family of devolution. We need 450 and above. And the committee that is going to mediate with the National Assembly should take judicial notice of the fact that the father of devolution in this country, one Raila Amolo Odinga, died crying for 450 billion. And this government, you can do anything to legacy of Raila Odinga, including destroying his party, but give him his price for devolution, and his price for devolution is 450 billion shillings. And in this case, we have said 454 billion shillings. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Next is Senator Mudigi.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia mjadala wa Senators majority kuhusu mambo ya pesa ya budget ya counties. Bwana Spika, nakumbuka vizuri mwaka jana tulikuwa na vita ya hapa na pale juu ya vile county zinafaa zipate pesa. Bwana Spika, mwaka huu, mwaka inayokuja tunaunga mkono counties sote 47 iweze kupatiwa bilioni 450 ndio iweze kuangalia mahitaji ya mwananchi. Kwa sababu tukiwa hapa maseneta si tu huwa tunapigania ukatuzi, na sisi tukiwa kule masinani tumekuwa tukiona vile county zinaendelea. Kwa sababu kuna mambo mengi sana. Kuna mambo ya pending bill, mangovernors wanja kumaliza hizo pesa. Kuna wage bill, pia wizara 10 ya county zingine unakuta hata departments zingine asiwezi kupata pesa. Pia kwa county, Bwana Speaker, kuna CSPs ambaye kutoka mwaka jana wamekuwa akipata pesa kidogo. National government inapeana 2,500 na county inapeana 2,500, na pia kuna shinda kwa sababu hata hizo pesa kupeana county nyingi zimekuwa na shinda. CSPs wengi wamekuwa hapati hizo pesa. Bwana Speaker, pia mambo ya economy vile inaenda pia pahali yote, mambo ya wale wafanyikazi wa county, Bwana Speaker, pia wanaumia sana kuserewa kwa misahara na pia kukosa pesa ya kufanya kazi kwa familia zao kwa sababu misahara ni kidogo. Kama sasa, Bwana Speaker, tukiangalia wiki 2 iliyopita mafuta imeenda juu. Kwa hivyo kungekuwa kama county zimepata pesa nyingi na mfanyikazi ameongezewa mshahara, ataendelea na sheria inafaa. Bwana Speaker, tukiangalia kule masinani kuna shule ambaye ya nursery school zingine zimeharibika. Watu wengine county zingine wanafunzi wanasomea katika kwa miti. Kwa hiyo Bwana Speaker, kama magavana waweza kuongezewa hizi pesa, utakuta mambo ya watoto wale wachanga watajengewa darasa mzuri. Pia tunajua kwa familia nyingi saa nyingine haikuangi na pesa ya kununua chakula saa nyingine, na wakati magavana watapatiwa pesa wataweza kusaidia ile shule. Ukute hata kama ni unji na chakula, ikifika saa 7 au watoto wakirudi manyumbani watakuwa wamepata vitu kama hizo. Tukifuatilia Bwana Speaker, mambo ya kilimo, saa nyingine tumeona magavana wakingangana kununua fertilizer na kununua mbegu, na wananunua mbegu wakiwa wamechelewa. Iende ikawa Bwana Speaker, tukiongezea pesa ya kutosha, mambo kama hiyo watakuwa napanga budget ambaye ni mapema ndio mkulima aweze kufaidika na mbegu na fertilizer ya kutosha. Bwana Speaker, hapo kwa kilimo, kwa sababu kilimo katika majimbo wakipatiwa pesa ya kutosha, magavana wengi wataweza kusaidia mambo ya kilimo, na kila familia injegewa water pan na pia matangi, ndio uweze kuona wanaweza kuwa na kilimo ambaye ni blue economy. Ndio kila mboma iweze kutengeneza mambo ya blue economy, kuvuga vuganji wa samaki. Kwa hivyo mambo ya kilimo, kama watu Madam Speaker, kama wataongezewa pesa mambo ya kilimo, ambaye mimi ni mwenyekiti mdogo, mambo ya kilimo ya blue economy itaweza kuendelea na njia ile nafaa. Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, Madam Spika, nataka nikumbushe Senate hii, wakati huu mambo ya vitu ya chakula imeenda juu, mambo ya nyama imeenda juu. Kwa hivyo utakuta kama ukulima wa samaki itakuwa kwa vijiji vyetu, huyo ukulima itaendelea vizuri. Spika, pia unakuta isara ya afya, mambo ya afya iko katika county government. Bwana Spika, kama wataongezewa pesa, utakuta kuna mambo ya health itaongezeka vizuri, madrasa health itajenga, dawa itapatikana, na mambo ya afya, mambo ya magonjwa itaweza kuwa imepungua, kama ya kifua kikuu, mambo ya kansa. Ile tu ningeomba au watu makipata ile pesa, Spika, ukute pia magavana, mambo ya oversight watakumbali kufanya na njia ile nafaa. Kwa hiyo Spika, tukiwa kule masinani, tukiwa maseneta, tumeona magavana wakiteseka, tumeona wafanyikazi misara ikiselewa, tumeona mambo mengi sana. Hata department nyingi pale katika kaunti zetu, Spika, watu wengine wakaa miaka kama 5, miaka 6 hawajai kuongezewa misara. Kwa hiyo misara ya wafanyikazi wale wafanya county, misara yao ni kidogo sana. Tungeomba hii pesa iweze kuongezewa. Kwa hivyo ningeomba hii kamati ambayo ya finance na wale maseneta wataenda kwa mediation, waweze ukaa vizuri, lakini wakuje na ile pesa ambaye itawezesha kaunti zetu siweze kuendelea na njia ile inafaa. Spika, pia mambo ya kilimo ya mbuzi, mambo ya ng'ombe, utakuta hata dawa, utakuta wale kama northeastern sehemu zingine watu wengi watakuwa napatiwa dawa ya kutosha ambaye si ya kununua ama ambaye irudi chini, ukute zile county imevaindika na pesa kama hizi. Spika, pia mambo ingine itasaidia hii pesa ikuja, utakuta county nyingi mambo ya zile wizara 10, kila wizara itakuwa na pesa yake. Kwa sababu unakuta wizara zingine ukienda kwa budget haina pesa zote, unakuta hakuna ambulance, hakuna hata wale watu wataka kwenda kutembelea kwa masamba, ama unakuta mambo ya revenue collection, unakuta magari yote imeharibika kwa sababu kaunti zetu hasina pesa ya kutosha. Na Spika, nasema hivyo kwa sababu niko na ushuhuda ya kusema juzi tu wakati ile kaunti 12 ilipatiwa pesa, nimeona kama kaunti ya Embu, Spika, juzi juu ya Auditor General nimeona alikuwa analaumiwa mambo ya wafanyikazi, na nakumbuka miezi 2 iliyopita juu ya kuongezewa pesa tuliona akianjiri walimu wa ECD walimu 100. Pia wakati huu naona akingangana na mambo ya hospitali, akiendelea kufanya renovation ya ile mambo ingine. Kwa hiyo Spika, ile kitu ningeomba MPs wache kukanyangia sisi na governors, kwa sababu hawajui ile kazi na ile sinda iko masinani. Tukiangalia budget ya national government, unakuta kila constituency, Spika, mambo ya CDF na mambo ya pesa ya CDF ni mambo ya ambassador, ni mambo ya kujenga ofisi ya DC na mambo ya chief. Hakuna kitu kingine. Kaunti nyingi inapata kila mwaka milioni 150. Pia hapo Spika, tumeona kila MP anapata milioni kama 40 na 50, na pia kama 40 na 50 pia ya kuweka stima. Pia hapo tumeona mambo ya parapara, unakuta anapatiwa pesa nyingi sana. Kwa hiyo Spika, ningeomba MPs wachane na mambo ya kusema magavana wafanye kazi. Ni sisi ma senators tunaweza kusema wanafanya ama wafanyi. Spika, ile kitu ningeomba, kila county iko na MCAs, na kama Embu County tuko na MCA 30. Spika, wakati pesa imeenda katika county zetu, unakuta ile pesa MCAs, executive na governor wanakalia chini, na pia wanaenda public participation. Kila ward inagaiwa pesa zake. Tungeomba ma MCAs mambo ya public participation, mambo ya oversight, ya primary oversight, MCAs muwe serious kuangalia zile pesa vile zinatumika masinani. Kwa hiyo Speaker, ningeomba kaunti zote 47 siweze kupatiwa 450 billion. Kwa sababu nakumbuka mwaka huu utaisha June, tuliwaongezea bilioni 10. Sasa itakuwanji Speaker, saa hii MPs wanataka kupitisha bilioni 5. Hiyo itakuwa ni aibu kubwa sana, na kulingana na vile maisha inaendelea. Tumeona mambo ya SHA, watu wanakatwa SHA pesa nyingi. Tumeona mambo ya housing wanakatwa pesa nyingi. Kwa hivyo Speaker, mimi nikiwa Senator wa Embu County naunga mkono county zote iongezewe 450 billion, ndio mambo ya misaada ya wafanyikazi iweze kuongezeka, ndio mambo ya afya, mambo ya county iweze kuendelea na njia inafaa. Pia Speaker, kama watapatiwa hizi pesa, hata county mambo ya agriculture, hata kama kuna pesa nyingi inatoka katika national government, watakuwa na njegwa hata dams, utakuta hiyo kilimo itasaidia. Kwa sababu siku hizi tumeona kila county bila kilimo haiwezi kuendelea na njia ile inafaa. Kwa Speaker, nikiwa Senator wa Embu County, naomba ile wale watu wataenda kukaa chini, senators mediation group na MPs waweze kutuletea bilioni 450 billion, ndio economy ya county zote zetu za Kenya, county 47 iweze kuendelea na njia ile inafaa. Kwa sababu sasa aturudi nyuma, ni kuelekea mbele. Asante Speaker, ni mimi Senator Alexander Munyimundigi, daktari, naunga mkono. Asante Speaker.
The Senator for Mombasa, Senator Mwenyihaki Faki.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the Division of Revenue Bill for the year 2026-2027. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I want to commend the Majority Leader for moving this bill this afternoon. And the proposal by the National Assembly that the shareable revenue going to the counties be at 420 billion is unreasonable and very low in terms of what our counties need going forward. Madam Speaker, last year, the proposal in the DORA bill, which was brought from the National Assembly, was at Kenya shillings 405 billion. In this House, we proposed a figure of 427 billion based on the fact that the National Assembly had not taken into consideration several issues, including the IPPG, or the difference in salaries as a result of adjustment in inflation, and other issues. The matter went to mediation, and in the mediation, we agreed at a figure of Kenya shillings 415 billion. This year's bill, Honorable Speaker, is proposing 420 billion. It's an increase of only 5 billion. If you take that as a percentage of what was given last year, it is hardly 2%. Madam Speaker, if you look at the projected revenues for the year 2026-2027, it is estimated to be 2.9 trillion, or 2,901,874,758,144. What is being retained by the national government is 2,471,624,184 and 439,000. Madam Speaker, this represents 85%, 85.7%, if I may be exact. The shareable revenue which is proposed, that is the 420 billion, is only 14.4% of the projected national revenue. Madam Speaker, this falls short of the amount given by the Constitution of 15%. But because we are using audited accounts of the year 2021, 2020, 2021, it seems that the amount is over and above the projected 15%, which is provided for under our Constitution. So, Madam Speaker, it is important that the National Assembly be current in the audit of the revenues of the government. At the moment, our peak and our PAC and peak committees are up to date. They are dealing with issues of 2024, 2025. Unlike the National Assembly, who are still stuck in the 2021, 2022, thereby disadvantaging the counties in terms of the sharing of the revenue. Madam Speaker, going forward, we believe the proposals by the committee that the figure be adjusted to 454 billion is reasonable, because it has taken into consideration the proposed salary increment that the county staff are entitled to, the CHWs, the county health workers who are supposed to be given about 8 billion for their salary adjustments, and the other surrounding issues that give us the figure of 454 billion. Madam Speaker, we know it has been tough during mediation, and the members of the National Assembly who are members of the mediation committee always come with the notion that they represent the government. The government has no money. The government has no this. The government has no that. But we are all in government, because the parliament has two chambers, the National Assembly and the Senate. And these are arms of the government. So that somebody cannot come and say and tell us that, look, the government has no money. Who is the government? They are not part of the executive. They are part of parliament, and parliament has to speak in the best interest of the people. Madam Speaker, before I finish, I want to mention two issues. Number one, the on-source revenue. The on-source revenue is a critical component of the revenues that are coming to our counties. However, most of their counties, Madam Speaker, have sort of neglected this very important aspect of revenue. And most of them will always be shouting that the national government has not sent us money. That is why we have not paid salaries. We have not received our revenue share. That is why we have not paid the contractors. We have not received money from the government. That's why our hospitals do not have drugs. Madam Speaker, this has to end, because we know every county has proposals on revenue raising, and these proposals have to be implemented so that the counties become self-sufficient in terms of revenue collection. You will find that although most of the hospitals or health facilities in our counties are having the FIF, but most of this money, Madam Speaker, is used by the executive to pay for other services. And most of the counties' facilities end up without medicines. They end up without important equipment that can be used to diagnose and bring in more funds to the counties. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to support this bill, but we need to amend it so that we have a figure of 454 billion, which we had proposed earlier in the budget policy statement. The other amendment I wish to put forward is the fact that currently the bill as drafted says that any shortfall could be passed on to the counties. However, it doesn't say that in the event of a surplus, it would also be passed on to the counties. So this particular provision needs to be deleted so that any shortfall will remain with the government. It doesn't need to be passed on to the county, because once we pass this bill, Madam Speaker, we have no opportunity to amend or to bring it back and adjust appropriate. Madam Speaker, I beg to move and I support the bill with the amendments. Thank you.
Senator Murango.
Asante sana Mstahiki Spika kwa kunipa hii nafasi. Kwanza ningetaka kushukuru kamati ya fedha kwa kazi ambayo wamefanya. Alafu niweze pia kuchangia. Na kabla nichangie, Mstahiki Spika, hebu niseme ya kwamba wakati umefika tena, wakati maseneta wanatumikanga kama tingatinga, kubomoa milima na kukata miti njia itengenezwe, alafu inapomalizika inasemekana wawekwe juu ya tinga wasije wakaribu ile barabara wamejenga. Hiyo ndio asante ambayo tumekuwa tukipata kutoka kwa mangavana. Lakini ni wajibu wetu na lazima tuanjimbike ili tuweze kufanya kazi ambayo tumepewa na wananchi. Mstahiki Spika, kuna mangavana wengine wamekuwa pia wakipoteza mangavana wenzao. Mekuwa kama venye Mswahili unasema usiwe kitatange kuwatosa wengine ndemani. Kuna wale wamekuwa wakisema kwamba tuende njia hii, lakini wao mwisho wamekuwa akija kwenye kamati na kuanjimbika. Ningeomba wote tunapompatia pesa nama kukaa kama leo tumekaa mpaka saa kama hizi tukijadili venye mtapata pesa katika katu zetu, muweze kuanjimbika ili wananchi waweze kupata na saa kwa fedha ambazo zimetoka kwa serikali kuu. Mstahiki Spika, pesa yote ambayo iliokotwa na serikali kuu ni takriban trilioni 2.9. Na serikali kuu imepata mgao wa trilioni 2.4. Na gatuzi zetu tunasema kwamba tupewe mgao wa shilingi bilioni 454 peke yake. Ukiangalia fedha ambazo tunaitisha ambazo ni zaidi ni bilioni 39 peke yake, lakini pesa ambayo serikali imeokota ambayo ukiangalia majukumu ya serikali kuu pamoja na akaunti wako na nyongeza ya takriban bilioni 330. Kwa hivyo Mstahiki Spika, tunapoitisha tu bilioni 39, hilo ni tone tu kwenye bahari, kwa sababu ni fedha kidogo sana, na sioni haja yote ya mavutano kati ya sisi na bunge la kitaifa ambao wanasema mangavana waweze kupewa takriban bilioni 420 peke yake, ambayo itakuwa ni nyongeza ya shilingi bilioni 5 peke yake. Ukiangalia majukumu ya kulipa nyongezeko ya mishahara ambayo ni ya lazima, Mstahiki Spika, utapata ya kwamba bilioni 5 hizo bunge la kitaifa wanasema tuweze kusipatia gatuzi zetu haitaweza hata kukimu. Na hiyo ni kusema nyongeza ambazo ni za lazima za wafanyikazi ambao wanafanya kazi katika kaunti yetu sitakuwa hazitoshi. Na kwa hivyo tutawaacha tu wafanyikazi waendelee kupata shinda na gubi kubwa la gumbali ambalo si matatizo yao, kwa sababu wanafanya kazi zao inavyostahili. Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, nyongeza hii tunayotetea mangavana ni kwa sababu jambo la kwanza ni kwa sababu ya mfumuko wa bei ambao unakisiwa kuwa 5%. Na wakati uchumi kuna mfumuko wa bei, ni vizuri kuhakikisha kwamba tunakinga gatuzi zetu, na sana sana wale wanaofanyia kazi county wasinje wakateseka kwa ajili ya kupewa mgao nduni wa pesa. Mstahiki Spika, bilioni 454 ambao tunasema tupewe ama zipewe katika gatuzi zetu zimekuwa katika taarifa ya sera ya bajeti ambao tulipitisha. Na kwa hivyo hakuna kitu tofauti ambao tumeitisha ambao tuko tumeitisha mbeleni. Na kwa hivyo ningeuliza wenzetu ambao wako katika bunge la kitaifa ambao pia wanapata nyongeza kila mwaka katika zile fedha za CDF, waweze wakati wa kuwa na kamati ya upatanishi tuweze kukubaliana kwamba gatuzi zetu zipewe fedha inayostahili. Mstahiki Spika, katika bajeti tumepata pia hata ikulu imekuwa ikipata nyongeza ya fedha. Na kwa hivyo itakuwa kama tunapatia nyenzo na taasisi zingine za serikali tuweze pia kupatia gatuzi zetu fedha za kutosha. Mstahiki Spika, nisikia pia mwenzangu na afadhali angekuwa Senator Cherargei akisema kwamba ni vizuri hii fedha iweze kwenda pia kwa hospitali kama Mathare, kwa sababu alisikia pia kuna wanasiasa ambao wanafikiria wako wanafaa kwenda kupata huduma za matibabu katika hospitali zile. Mstahiki Speaker, nikichangia hilo naweza sema ya kwamba unajua mtu kuwa na akili punguani ama kuwa tahira ama ugonjwa wa akili inawezekana kwa mtu yote. Na Mstahiki Speaker, kinjiko kinaishi siku zote kwa supu, lakini hakijui ladha ya supu. Kwa hivyo unaweza sema wengine ni wenda wazimu ukaanza kujipata wenda upunguani, kwa sababu mgonjwa wa akili hajui kama ni mgonjwa. Na kwa hivyo tunapotoa matamshi mengine hapa, hata kama tunakashifu upinzani, ni vizuri tujue ya kwamba kuna mifano ambayo haifai. Itakuwa ni kama kejeli kwa wagonjwa ambao wamekuwa na matatizo tofauti ya kiakili. Hata kama nataka kutusiana, afadhali tuchukue mfano mwingine. Mstahiki Speaker, ni vizuri hata kama naongea mambo ya ugatuzi, na ambapo pia ningesema kama mimi kwa mara ine tumekuwa tunangojea gavana wangu kuja ili kujibu maendeleo ambayo amefanya kuhusu kutekeleza na kujenga shule za chekechea ambayo hanjaweza kukuja. Ni vizuri wakati kama sasa tunatetea na tukijua ya kwamba nimekuwa mstari wa mbele tukiwa na maseneta wengine hapa, na pia nakumbuka pia Senator Medho alikuweko wakati tulichukua hatua ya kusawasisha na kuhakikisha kwamba zile gatuzi ndogo ndogo kama Kirinyaga, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Nyandarua na zingine wanafaidika kutoka kwa mgao. Kwa hivyo ningetaka niseme ya kwamba wakati zile fedha zimepatikana, ni vizuri mangavana ambao wanahusika na yale waweze kutumia zile fedha ambazo tunawapatia kwa njia inayofaa, na mtu akitwa kuwajibika asikose kuja, kwa sababu wakati tunachukua hatua za mapendeleo wa makusudi ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba kuna maendeleo katika zile kaunti ndogo, tunafanya hivyo kwa makusudi. Kwa hivyo gavana anafaa kuja kwa makusudi. Nikimalizia, Mstahiki Speaker, ni vizuri niongee kuhusu jambo ambalo linahusu bajeti nzima kwa jumla. Mstahiki Speaker, umeona mimi ni mmoja wapo wa seneta ambaye wanakaa katika kamati ya elimu katika bunge la seneti tukiwa na wewe. Kwa hivyo hata wewe unaelewa na nitasema siku ya leo. Mstahiki Speaker, ukiangalia umeona walimu wakilalamika. Na Mstahiki Speaker, ningeomba ulinzi kwa sababu nadhani hii simu ya Senator Karen Nyamo inatatiza mtiririko wangu wa mawazo wakati nachangia mswada ulio mbele yangu.
Senator Nyamo, please don't speak on phone in the house. You're disrupting. Proceed, Senator Murango.
Mstahiki Speaker, nilikuwa nasema nataka kuchangia katika bajeti nzima yenye inatoka kwa bunge la taifa na pia inakuja katika bunge la seneti tunapochangia mchango wa gatuzi. Mstahiki Speaker, umeona na tumekuwa na malalamishi kutoka katika kamati ya elimu, kwa sababu walimu ambao wanafunza, walimu ambao tunawategemea na kupeleka watoto wetu katika shule zetu.
Order, Senator Nyamo. Can Senator Nyamo come back?
Mstahiki Speaker, walimu wamekuwa kilalamika juu ya kupunguzwa kwa anda za malipo ya SHA wanapoenda kama wagonjwa nje. Mstahiki Speaker, imepunguzwa kutoka fedha zilizokuwa hapo mbeleni mpaka 1200. Hiyo ni kusema mwalimu anapoenda hospitali kutimbiwa, akiingia hospitali, fedha ambayo anaweza tumia kwenye mfumo mpya huu wa SHA ni shilingi 1200 peke yake. Mstahiki Speaker, hospitali nyingi kumwona daktari peke yake itakugharimu zaidi ya shilingi 1000. Mstahiki Speaker, na Mstahiki Speaker, ni kusema mwalimu anambakia tu na shilingi 200.
Senator Nyamo, I called you back. Sorry, Senator Murango. When I spoke to you about the phone, you stood, you continued speaking on phone, and you did not bow as is required by the law, the standing orders. Please just do the right thing, even as you're walking out, so that we don't have to do this. So it is the house you're respecting. So if you are walking out, please go back and bow the way you're supposed to do. Thank you. Senator Murango, you may proceed.
Asante sana Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, nilikuwa nasema kwamba katika mfumo mpya walimu wameanza kuteseka kwa sababu fedha ambazo wamegawiwa ni kidogo sana kuweza kukimu mahitaji ya matibabu. Sana sana wagonjwa wa nje, mwenye anaenda na kutoka. Ile fedha shilingi 1000 kumwona daktari, shilingi 200 ambao unafaa kulipia mandawa, na kama utahitajika pia kupigwa picha, hiyo haitoshi Mstahiki Spika. Kwa hivyo bunge la kitaifa wakati wanapitisha makadirio, ni vizuri waangalie ni vipi wataweza kuhakikisha kwamba walimu wetu wateseki. Mstahiki Spika, pia kuna fedha ambazo zinaenda katika shule zetu ambazo zimechelewa, shule zimefunguliwa. Hiyo ni kusema walimu watambidi waweze kufunza watoto bila vifaa muhimu. Hiyo itakuwa si vizuri kwa sababu itakuwa ni mateso ya watoto ambayo hawafai kupitia kwao. Mstahiki Spika, katika bajeti ambayo tunaongelea, kwa sababu pia itapita, walimu waliosahihisha mtihani miezi 5 iliyopita mpaka leo Mstahiki Spika hawajalipo marupurupu yao, kinyume na venye imekuwa. Kwa hivyo wameendelea kutambika na bado wakiongea na sauti yao haifiki. Mstahiki Spika, nikimalizia mambo ya walimu, ni kwamba koti iliamuru tarehe 26 mwaka huu kwamba wahitimu wa mafunzo ambao wamepewa kazi na serikali kama walimu kisheria ni haramu, ni kinyume cha sheria. Wale walimu ambao bado wanaendelea kuwa katika shule zetu wameendelea kukaa katika hali ambayo yasitofahamu, wajui wataanjiriwa ama wataanjiriwa mpaka siku ya leo, na wale wanafaa kuanjiriwa kazi ya kudumu kulingana na koti ambao watapata marupurupu ya uzeeni. Mstahiki Spika, kwa hivyo mimi ningeomba wenzangu katika bunge la kitaifa, kwa sababu jukumu hilo ndio wamepewa, kwamba wanapofanya makadirio na kupitisha bajeti waangalie mwalimu wa kawaida, waangalie matatizo ya walimu. Na mimi nawasihi kwa heshima na taadhima ya kwamba tusipoangalia walimu tutakuwa tunacheza na maisha ya watoto wetu. Na kwa hivyo wanapokatakata pesa kutoka sehemu, taasisi na nyenzo tofauti za serikali, vizuri wahakikisha ya kwamba walimu wamepata mfumo mzuri wa afya, walimu wamelipwa marupurupu yao, wale walienda kusahihisha mitihani ambao hawajalipwa, hakikisha kwamba wale wahitimu mafunzo 44 wamepewa kazi ya kudumu na yenye marupurupu ya uzeeni, na wahakikisha ya kwamba walimu wanapokatwa pesa ambazo wanakatwa kwa sababu ya ujenzi wa manyumba, wahakikisha ya kwamba pia wanafurahia huduma hiyo, kwa sababu walimu wengi wanahamishwa kutoka sehemu moja hadi sehemu nyingine. Na nikimalizia mambo ya ukulima, Mstahiki Spika, mangavana wengi hawajatilia mkazo mambo ya ukulima. Utapata kwamba maafisa wa ugani ambao wanafaa kuangalia mambo ya ukulima hawana vifaa vya usafiri. Kama Kirinyaga hatuna maambara ya udongo, kwa hivyo magonjwa mengi kutoka kwa udongo na wakulima wengi wanateseka. Vyama vya ushirika vinafaa vipewe maafisa wa ugani ili waweze kuangalia wakulima. Barabara, Mstahiki Spika, ya kukuza mchere pale kwetu Mwea imegeuka kuwa mandimbwi. Tulikuwa tunapitia, sasa tunaogelea kule. Ni vizuri iweze kuangaliwa. Na pia mpunga ambao umekuzwa ambao sasa bei imetoka shilingi 85 imeshuka mpaka shilingi 60, pia iweze kuangaliwa, kwa sababu serikali walikuja akatupa handi kwamba atanunua hiyo mchele, lakini wakaendelea wakaamua kuleta mchele kutoka nje mwenye ruzuku ambao umeharibu soko. Saa hii tuko na takriban kilo milioni 2 ambao imekwama sehemu ya Mwea, na mchele bei ya ununuzi imeenda chini, hatuwezi kimu hata gharama ya kukuza ule mchele. Asante sana Mstahiki Spika.
Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to at least give my voice on the Division of Revenue Bill 2026, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Constitution is very clear that we have one national government with 47 county governments, governments that coexist, governments that are distinct, and governments that have to run the operations according to the Constitution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Kenyans made their minds and spoke out very clearly at the onset of devolution. And Kenyans were very passionate and picked out key functions that they wanted the county governments that are governments that are closer to the people. And with that closeness, Madam Speaker, in terms of proximity, the people wanted leaders that they would be able to engage daily, leaders that lived with them down at the county levels, leaders that would often visit them at the wards, and they even dreamt that they would have leaders that they would see at the village levels. Madam Speaker, why I bring this proximity of the leadership that the people deliberately chose is that there are services in this country, that there are services, there are sectors that mean so much to our people. And it does not mean that others do not mean so much. But Madam Speaker, look at the choice of health, the choice of water, the choice of agriculture. Madam Speaker, there were by design that the people of Kenya decided that these functions would be taken over by the county governments that were closer to them. Madam Speaker, I'm bringing this argument because, Madam Speaker, even at the time that these functions were being allocated to the counties and they were being unbundled, Madam Speaker, and I talk to you knowing, Madam Speaker, that you are a name in the devolution space. Madam Speaker, you know that these functions, even as they were unbundled to the county governments initially, and even after that, the issue of costing has remained a thorny issue. Madam Speaker, and that is why I'm going to go straight to the figures that have been proposed here. And I want to say from the onset that I will go by the figure that was proposed by the Commission of Revenue Allocation, Madam Speaker, which was 458.9 B, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, CRA is an independent commission, a commission that has a constitutional mandate over revenue in this country. And why should we assume figures that they come up with? Madam Speaker, because at the onset of devolution, Kenyans precisely decided on certain commissions because they knew that they needed a body to independently decide between these two levels of government. And Madam Speaker, because functions were never costed. And Madam Speaker, if I'm wrong, I need that evidence tabled in the Senate. Where is the costing that was done? We keep on giving resources to sectors arbitrarily. And that is why, when you reflect back at the counties, health continues to struggle, Madam Speaker. We are tired, and as women, we are tired of hearing this story of health centers and hospitals having no drugs, Madam Speaker. That you'd go and find medics, and our people mostly at the lower levels, at levels 2 and 3 and 4, those are hospitals that are frequented by our ordinary people in the villages. It means then they have confidence that when they walk into that hospital, a mother that carries their baby and walks to that hospital is a mother who knows they have a government they elected, either at the county or the national government, and they leave. If they are unwell, they go to hospital because they need services. And services should never only be limited to seeing a doctor. You see the doctor, and the doctor sees and makes a diagnosis, and the doctor writes down what will help the patient, and in the same hospital, a Kenyan should walk into that hospital, see a medic, consult with the medic, go to a laboratory for checking, walk back to the doctor, get their prescription, go to a pharmacy, and be able to get all the medicine that has been prescribed. Madam Speaker, while we are at the villages, we have often been confronted by very pathetic cases of mothers, of patients who walk to hospital, and after that, they are told there are no adequate medical, there are no adequate medicine, and so you are given a sheet and they are told to walk to the nearest chemist. Madam Speaker, that is not the dream Kenyans had when devolution came. And that is why I'm saying, Madam Speaker, that I will not support the fact that counties should be given 420. We want the maximum of what can be given, and CRA, which is the Commission of Revenue Allocation, had prescribed 458. Madam Speaker, we have other than health. And health is devolved. And we want adequate funding given to health. Madam Speaker, when you come to water, you and me and all of us here know how useful water is. Water is a basic, to humanity. Madam Speaker, we want to see our villages having water. We want to see women accessing water as close as possible to their homes. And this can only be done when funds are available, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm emphasizing this because these are the dreams our people had when they decided that these sectors had to go down to the leadership that was closer to them. Madam Speaker, Kenyans had made a comparison from the past, and they didn't want to struggle reaching out a leader who was centralized somewhere. And so we decided that health, water, agriculture, Madam Speaker, and we all know the complexities and the challenges that the agriculture as a sector has. Madam Speaker, long time when we were growing up, I'm not sure whether you also grew up in the village, but I did. I remember my grandfather being a cotton farmer, a maize farmer, and my grandfather tried all the cash crops that were introduced. But there was something that we admired, that there were extension officers that we knew would come on particular days, just driving their motorcycles. At that point, they were not the many motorcycles we see around today. So each time when we were at home and helping our grandfather with picking of cotton, Madam Speaker, when you had some border coming, and it was only one, we knew an agricultural officer was coming, and they were so disciplined, they were so time conscious. They would check on the farms when the farmers were starting to plow. They would check as weeding was going place. They would check when harvesting was happening. They would check even and supervise on the separation of the cotton, the output, Madam Speaker. I loved it because the farmers had access to advisory services. But that is not what we see today, Madam Speaker. Our farmers are on their own. Our farmers even have nobody just going to them to advise on emerging issues like weeds that are on their farms. The farmers now, Madam Speaker, are their own consultants. The farmers depend on each other, on what a farmer says against another. In my village, Honorable Speaker, and we are sugarcane farmers in Dewa, we still do subsistence farming on beans and maize, but there is very little our farmers get in terms of support from the government, because those extension officers are not there. And in agriculture, Honorable Speaker, we have veterinary. That is even worse. Our farmers long time had veterinary officers in what we used to call district headquarters. Now what we have, sub-county headquarters. Honorable Speaker, we hardly see those veterinary officers. If they are there, they are few as compared to the populations that they should be serving. Our farmers now are reduced to going to veterinary shops at the town centers to seek for veterinary services. Honorable Speaker, and you know, in those veterinary shops, we are never sure of even the skills of the people that are running those shops. As governments and our people decided that these services of veterinary should come to the county, and Madam Speaker, we should never have devolved functions to the county headquarters just to re-centralize them again at the county headquarters. Our people want services to the sub-counties, to the wards, and to the village levels, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there are also devolved functions like county roads. If I give you an example, Madam Speaker, in my sub-county in Dewa, I was at home over the weekends. The roads are in a pathetic situations that have been made worse by the rains. Madam Speaker, I'm just making a case for the kind of money we need to see go into the counties, so that these functions that are devolved and which have specified, including lands, we have the planning aspect, we have survey, we have urbanization and urban services devolved, Madam Speaker. Those are services that require money, Madam Speaker. And that is why I'm saying that, Madam Speaker, I do not support the 420 billion that has been specified here. And Madam Speaker, I will be going for the CRA figures that are 458. And Madam Speaker, let us remind ourselves that some few months before my late party leader, one Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, moved on to the next life, hopefully we will all meet there. Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, the father of devolution, was in this house, and he made a pronouncement of 450 billion. I remember even at a formal sitting, he made that. And Madam Speaker, I do not say this for nothing. I say this because informally at those meetings, formally, the House leadership of both houses made commitments of the 450. I would like to urge the two houses to live by those pronouncements, that if we cannot go for the CRA figures, let us not go below the 450 billion that we have all dreamt of having. And lastly, Madam Speaker, because I know my colleague, Senator and son, Senator Methu, is there, and I can see he wants to spew some wisdom from Nyandarua and from the Republic, I want to step back and say that even as Senate debates the Divisional Revenue Bill, and as we work as per the constitutional responsibility we have to get these monies to the counties, the governors should never assume that the Senate has a role over these funds after their disbursement. That as we debate them, as we ensure the counties get their money, the issue of accountability and transparency is not optional, Madam Speaker. And let the Council of Governors and the governors know that even appearances in committees and in Senate is not a choice. It is constitutionally spelled out. And as servants of the people of this republic, both the Senate and the governors have a duty to account to the people of Kenya, which we do in our committees. Madam Speaker, I go back to listen because somebody told me that what you say you already know. But what you listen to is a new thing. And so I step back to listen to the next senator. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Methu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for allowing me an opportunity to say what I know, because I've listened to what I don't know. And we are in that season, Madam Speaker, again. You know, one of the cardinal roles of this House, the Senate, one of the things that we take a lot of pride in is that we are the fulcrum around which devolution revolves, Madam Speaker. And we have been very consistent since I joined this House that we want to send as much money as we can, as much money as it is deserved, as much money as it is espoused in the Constitution to our devolved units, regardless of the bad manners that we see from the governors, Madam Speaker. And I'm sure I'll come to it, write down my contribution, Madam Speaker. If you read the submissions that have been made by the Council of Governors, you sometimes wonder whether these are the same people who don't want to take responsibility, who don't want to be accountable. And you know, Madam Speaker, I'm a Christian, a staunch Christian for that matter. If you read the parable of the talents, Madam Speaker, it was very clear. The people who are rewarded are those who are accountable of the talents that are given. Even the person who got 2 talents, I think, was rewarded. That is what is in the Bible. The one who took 1 talent and could not account for that 1 talent, they say that, oh, we took this talent and went and hid it somewhere. They were punished severely. So therefore, the governors cannot keep saying that they want so much money pushed down the counties, Madam Speaker, but they don't want to appear before the Senate to come and account for the reason that they think. You know, they say that, oh, what we have is not enough. But why don't you first account for what you, don't, for what you have? So that you can get some more. You know, the provisions of the law for officers who operate interest, Madam Speaker, you only get your interest replenished when you have accounted for what you had already gotten, Madam Speaker. Let me say 2 very quick things, Madam Speaker. And I'm very, very happy about the work that has been done by our committee, the Committee on Finance, Madam Speaker, that regardless of the provocation and what I have heard as the comments that have been made by my colleagues, the senators, Madam Speaker, that regardless of the provocation that we have heard from the governors, those who speak very badly about this House, Madam Speaker, we have not lost sight of what we want, because, Madam Speaker, if you look at the functions that are in Schedule 4 of what the Constitution expects will be done by our devolved units, Madam Speaker, these are issues that really touch the person at the lowest level of the pyramid, Madam Speaker. Issues to do with water, issues to do with the provision of health services, Madam Speaker, issues to do with agriculture, issues to do with livestock, Madam Speaker, issues to do with trade, Madam Speaker. Very, very basic requirements of human dignity, Madam Speaker, are provided for in the Constitution, that there will be functions that will be undertaken by county governments, Madam Speaker. That is the reason why, as a Senate, we shall always continue, and we will all fight from the same direction, Madam Speaker, to push more money. And that is why I really support this proposal by the Finance Committee, that we are meant to have 454 billion sent to the county government, Madam Speaker, which is a significant growth, Madam Speaker. It is not out of nothing. And I think that is the reason why the Constitution, in the provisions of Article 203, Madam Speaker, were very specific of how much should go to counties, Madam Speaker. counties are not at the mercy of the national government. I have seen the submissions that have been made by the National Treasury. They wanted to look like what is shared between counties and national government, Madam Speaker, is what remains after the national governments take care of its obligations, Madam Speaker. I've seen one of the reasons why they don't want to grow the revenue of the counties with about just 5 billion, Madam Speaker. They are saying that they are servicing national debt. Madam Speaker, what role does the counties have in borrowing? Do counties participate in borrowing? These are two levels of government of equal nature, Madam Speaker. It is not what remains after the national government takes care of its obligation, because anyway, when you borrow this money, you don't involve counties in the projects that are in the programs and the projects that you are undertaking. So it is upon you, the people at the national government, Madam Speaker, to know how you will repay this money that you are borrowing. It has nothing to do with the counties, Madam Speaker. What we need to look at is how has our national revenue grown within this financial year, Madam Speaker, so that we know. Now, like I have seen that the projected growth of our revenue, Madam Speaker, the ordinary revenue, Madam Speaker, it is projected that our revenue will grow from 2.64 trillion in the financial year 2026-2027 to about 2.9 trillion, Madam Speaker. That goes to about 261 billion. It cannot be that we are growing our ordinary revenue with 261 billion, but we only want to send 5 billion of the 261, Madam Speaker, that the only money that will grow in terms of the revenue that goes to the counties, Madam Speaker, is only 5 billion. That we must vehemently, and we must use every energy, every avenue that we have to ensure that we try and correct this wrong that cripples. You know, Madam Speaker, by the way, you know, Madam Speaker, there was created a center of power that was not envisioned in the Constitution 2010, Madam Speaker. The National Treasury has become such a critical office, such a huge office, such a big office, that now looks like it is the one that are determining how much money goes to the counties, Madam Speaker. It is not the National Treasury that determines how much goes to the county governments, Madam Speaker. What goes to the county government is what has been provided for in the Constitution in the Article 203, Madam Speaker. Number two, I see and I would want the National Assembly to work with us, Madam Speaker. Sometimes we are growing revenues that are not necessary, in my opinion, Madam Speaker. How comes, Madam Speaker, for 4 years that this regime has been in power, the money that goes to, for example, big offices, Madam Speaker, like State House, has grown so exponentially, Madam Speaker, but the money that is supposed to buy drugs, you saw the minister speak here, Madam Speaker. They are saying SHA does not provide drugs, Madam Speaker. That is actually true. But how comes that we don't want to send money, enough money, Madam Speaker, to enable our governors, Madam Speaker, buy enough drugs so that our people can actually celebrate as much as those who are in State House are celebrating because their budgets have grown. There's nothing that the person from Vihiga, there's nothing that the person from Kisumu will get from government, because not all of us can be able to feed and go to State House and get the 3,000, 10,000 that is given there, Madam Speaker. We only want services to be taken to our people. Maybe finally, because I see my time is really gone. When we started, and you had, I think, if you even look at the national address that was made by the president in his first year, in his second year, he was taking a lot of pride when he was speaking, Madam Speaker, and he's saying that this will be the first administration that will ensure that we are sending enough money to counties on time. I wonder whether he can say that if he comes at the end of this year. Because, Madam Speaker, if you look at the money in the first half of 2025-2026, Madam Speaker, or 2026-2027, Madam Speaker, the first half, 50 billion, I had it in my notes, it is 50.4 billion has not been transferred to counties, Madam Speaker. So how comes we keep now changing? This country has a habit of things changing every day, and people speaking different languages every time. 1 minute you are speaking about Mama Mboga. Next minute you are speaking Mutia Boda Boda. Now you are no longer speaking about Mutia Boda Boda. You are no longer speaking about Mama Mboga. You are now speaking about other different things. I think a week or two or a month ago, people were speaking about Nyota. Now people are no longer speaking about Nyota. I think we are now at Jua, going to Mwezi, and I don't know what, Madam Speaker. So we must be consistent in what we are saying. We must be consistent in what we are doing. And the Senate has been extremely consistent in terms of the growth of revenue. There is one more thing that I want to speak about, Madam Speaker. in the implementation of the remuneration and benefits review cycles, Madam Speaker. We are now at the third cycle. And I think for the third cycle, county governments require about 4.7 billion, and the fourth phase, they require about 5.2 billion, Madam Speaker. We must try and carry everyone along, Madam Speaker. Inflation is there. Things are changing. It cannot be, Madam Speaker, that we expect somebody to have the same quality of life as they had in 2022, and we are paying them the same salary that they got, Madam Speaker. This benefit review must be implemented. Finally, there is this group, and we have spoken about it, I think, since I joined this parliament, and I am now an old member of this house. I hear that by the last half of this year, I think I'll be 4 years, Madam Speaker. We must ensure that our UHC workers, Madam Speaker, are now permanently absorbed. This 8.9 billion, we can't keep speaking about it, Madam Speaker. Their contracts are expiring in April and September of 2026, Madam Speaker. It cannot be that we speak about this thing every now and then. This thing must be implemented once and for all before we get to campaigns, Madam Speaker. You know, when we get to campaigns, people will be buying paraffin to run motorcycles, Madam Speaker, and we don't want to get...
Honorable Senators, it is now 6:30 p.m. Time to adjourn the Senate. Senator Methu, you still have a balance of 10 minutes. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 29th April 2026 at 9:30 a.m.
Kindly printer, the